Enforced disappearances in Bangladesh, a shame for humanity everywhere. A dark era of recent abductions and enforced disappearances in Bangladesh started in 2009. Since then, children are in tears for their fathers. Wives have been crying for years for their husbands. Parents' eyes are still longing to see their sons once more. Bangladesh's law enforcers took these people away. Nobody knows where they are. Some secret investigation reports from international media, such as Deutsche Welle, suggest that the abducted individuals are being held in a secret detention centre known as Aina Gore, House of Horror, operated by the Bangladesh Defence Forces Intelligence. International calls for investigations by the United Nations have been repeatedly denied. The current unelected dictator of Bangladesh has ignored numerous requests from United Nations and international human rights organisations. Located in South Asia, Bangladesh is home to almost 200 million people. After British colonial rule, it was a part of Pakistan for 24 years until a brutal war in 1971 led to its independence. Unfortunately, the struggle for equality, human dignity, and social justice did not end there. People's hope for a democratic and fair system was shattered immediately after independence. The first government, led by Sheikh Mujib Rahman, established a one-party dictatorship. For the first time, thousands of people were victims of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. The most notable cases were the abduction of Dr. Azharuddin, Zahir Raihan, and Aftabuddin. Dr. Azharuddin was an elected MNA from Awami League in 1970 and was later nominated to contest election against Sheikh Mujib from the Bola electorate in 1973. He was abducted before the election. Zahir Raihan was a renowned intellectual, writer and filmmaker. Their whereabouts remain unknown until today. Aftabuddin was the executive editor of a national newspaper, Gonakontho, and fortunately, he managed to return after being abducted. Not only abductions, but massive corruption and state-sponsored crimes also became rampant. This situation continued until Sheikh Mujib was assassinated by a group of military officers in 1975 due to an intra-party conflict. These military officers were his followers and freedom fighters. With Mujib's death, killing and abduction stopped temporarily. However, successive governments never investigated those human rights violations, and no perpetrators were brought to justice. As a result, a culture of blanket impunity still exists in Bangladesh. In 1991, the end of a military dictatorship created opportunities for democratic practices in the country. Sheikh Hasina, the daughter of Sheikh Mujib, took part in the democratic process. She repented publicly, cried, sought forgiveness for all the past crimes of her party and her father, and requested people to vote for her. Coming into power in 2009, she started building on her father's legacy of undermining the democratic process and destroying democratic institutions. Enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings have become her tactics to suppress opposition and silence dissidents in Bangladesh. Most notable cases of abductions during Sheikh Hasina's rule were prominent politician Ilyas Ali, Brigadier General Aman Azmi, Barrister Aman, Trade Union leader Aminul Islam, Ward Commissioner Chowdhury Alam, student leader Muhammad Sohel, university student Al Muqaddas, and Muhammad Wali Ullah. Bangladesh is now known as the world capital of enforced disappearance. The Rapid Action Battalion, police, and detective branch didn't only abduct opposition political leaders, they also went after ordinary citizens and even young students. As time passed, more and more people were kidnapped and lost forever. International human rights groups have kept track to some extent and found that 619 were victims of enforced disappearance from January 2009 to June 2022. However, the actual number is undoubtedly much bigger. It's hard to know the exact count because families are always being watched in person and online. Intimidation and threats have become a regular part of their daily lives. For many years, they were told their beloved ones would never return, or even another family member would be abducted if they went public with such a complaint. This threat makes it hard for them to speak up against the people and the state machinery that took their loved ones. If someone raises their voice from outside the country, their family members inside the country face arrests and torture. You may wonder why the victims are so scared. Can't they go to the judiciary for help? The answer is a big no. For the victims to get justice, the criminal justice institutions must be competent, professional, and independent from political influence. Sadly, these things are missing in Bangladesh under Sheikh Hasina's rule. All judges have been selected and appointed based on their loyalty to her. Sheikh Hasina has transformed criminal justice institutions, the police force, defence and government departments into her own instruments of oppression. The officials who are supposed to help general people, like the Attorney General's office and judges, consistently and publicly support and assist the criminals instead. The Sheikh Hasina regime rewards perpetrators with prestigious positions, promotions and awards. Injustice, impunity, inhumane and degrading treatment are now commonplace in Bangladesh. The victims' cry for justice remains unanswered. The doors to justice in domestic jurisdiction remain closed shut. Millions of Bangladeshi people now beg for intervention from the international community and humanitarian authorities. On 10th December 2021, the United States Treasury Department sanctioned the Rapid Action Battalion, the elite paramilitary force of Bangladesh, including its 7 high-ranking officers, for serious human rights violations. This sanction brought some hope to the victims' families. However, enforced disappearance in Bangladesh did not stop, and the suppressed cry for justice still continues.
2012 সালের 17 এপ্রিল আমার স্বামী ইলিয়াস আলী আমাদের বাসার সামনে বনানী 2 নম্বর রোড থেকে গুম হয়ে যান। তো 2012 সালের 17 এপ্রিল উনি বিকালে সম্ভবত 3টার ফ্লাইটে উনি ঢাকায় পৌঁছেন, সিলেট থেকে ঢাকায় আসেন এবং আনুমানিক সন্ধ্যা 7টার সময় উনি রূপসী বাংলার উদ্দেশ্যে উনি বের হয়ে যান বাসা থেকে। তো উনি যখন বাসা থেকে ফিরেন তখন ওনাকে বাসার সামনের রাস্তা থেকে দুই দিক থেকে দুটি সাদা মাইক্রোবাস, কিছু সাদা পোশাকধারী লোক যারা অস্ত্রসজ্জিত ছিল তারা ওনাকে গাড়ির গতিরোধ করেন এবং ওনাকে জোরপূর্বক ওখান থেকে ওনাকে এবং ওনার ড্রাইভার আনসার আলী সহ ওনাকে তুলে নিয়ে যান ওখান থেকে।
আরমানকে 2016 সালের 9 আগস্ট দিবাগত রাতে একদল সশস্ত্র লোক এসে তাকে জোর করে টেনে হেঁচড়ে নিয়ে যান অস্ত্রের মুখে। ওদের কোনো ইউনিফর্ম পরা ছিল না, ওরা সাদা ড্রেসে পোশাকে ছিল, কিন্তু ভারী অস্ত্র শস্ত্র তাদের সাথে ছিল। আমার মেজো মেয়ে ICRC-তে নামক একটা হিউম্যান রাইটস গ্রুপ একটা প্রতিষ্ঠানের সাথে সে যোগাযোগ করে এবং সেখানে সে অ্যাপ্লাই করে। তাদের মাধ্যমে আমরা তাদের বাংলাদেশ অফিস আমাদের সঙ্গে যোগাযোগ করে এবং আমরা তাদের সঙ্গে কথা বলার পর তারা আমাদেরকে বলেছে যে আমরা আপনার ছেলেকে বের করে দিতে পারবো না, তবে সে কোথায় আছে এটা আমরা জানাতে পারবো। পরবর্তীতে তারা আমাদেরকে জানায় যে তারা সরকারের বাংলাদেশ গভর্নমেন্টের কাস্টডিতেই তারা আছে, এটা তারা নিশ্চিত করে। দ্বিতীয় হচ্ছে যে আমেরিকান স্টেট ডিপার্টমেন্টের থেকে আমাদের জানান যে তারা জানিয়েছে যে আরমান বাংলাদেশ গভর্নমেন্টের কাস্টডিতে আছে। এরপরে আমরা পরবর্তীতে দেখলাম যে নেত্র নিউজ আয়নাঘর নামে যে একটি প্রতিবেদন করলো, যা বিশ্বের সবাই জেনেছে দেখেছে, তার মাধ্যমে আমরা আরো নিশ্চিত হয়েছি যে আরমান সেখানে আছে। বিভিন্নভাবেই প্রধানমন্ত্রীর কাছে, র্যাবের প্রধানের কাছে, তারপরে পুলিশ প্রধানের কাছে, রাষ্ট্রপতির কাছে আমরা সরাসরি অ্যাপ্লিকেশন করেছি আরমানের জন্য এবং তাকে খুঁজে দেওয়ার জন্য আমরা অ্যাপিল করেছি, কিন্তু তাদের পক্ষ থেকে আমরা কোনো জবাব পাই নাই।
Enforced disappearance is a crime against humanity. It must not go unpunished. Let justice prevail. Stand with the victims of enforced disappearance in Bangladesh. Be the voice for the silenced and lost people.